Hey, it's Dr. John Terry, the Black Belt Leader, and welcome to this Words of Wisdom Wednesday, where we take another look at leadership insights from the Bible. Now, whether you're a person of faith or not, the recorded history in these 66 books of the Bible, spanning over 6,000 years of human history, give us an opportunity to take a look at good leadership, bad leadership, great leadership, and poor leadership throughout generations of time. And the lessons we can learn from those leadership successes and failures are applicable even today. Now, we're in the book of Exodus. If you're just now joining us, we're in chapter 18, looking at leadership lessons from the life of Moses. Now, in the prior lesson, Moses has just finished sending out a military leader to go to battle to protect the people, and he, as the primary leader of the children of Israel, stayed visible during that time. We talked about that in last week's episode. You can go listen to that at your convenience. But today, the battle is concluded. Israel was successful in defeating an enemy, and now Moses' father-in-law, his wife, and his sons are returning to the encampment to be with Moses and to observe what Moses is doing on a day-to-day basis as he's leading the children of Israel. Now, Jethro, as his father-in-law, pay attention to this. He is a mentor observing and speaking into the life of Moses, sharing his experience as a leader himself and helping groom and mold Moses to be the incredible leader that he was. So let's jump right into Exodus chapter 18, verse 13. The next day, after Moses had met with his father-in-law and his family had returned and they'd celebrated and spent time together, Moses took his seat to serve as judge for the people, and they stood around him from morning till evening. Now, as a judge, it was Moses' responsibility to be able to give guidance, to give advice, to deal with conflict and other issues. And as we can see here, it was an all-day event. And that leads us to our first leadership insight. Understand that as a leader, you may have obligations and responsibilities that are demanding of your time and attention. If you are a leader that has been called to lead and you've stepped into that role, you've raised your hand and said, I will lead this project, I will lead this team, I will lead this organization, leadership requires that you as a leader actually lead. You actually do the things that leaders do to bring about the results that leaders bring about. Now, these duties as a leader can be time consuming. They can be demanding. They can be very taxing of your mental, physical, and emotional health. But leaders understand they are accountable to their people and they are accountable to the results, to the outcomes they've agreed to bring forth. And as a result of that, they have duties, responsibilities, and obligations they've got to make sure they're adhering to on a consistent and regular basis. Now, one of the other takeaways from this, and you see this here in this passage of scripture, good leaders like Moses, as an example, when asked by those they are leading and their followers raise their hand and say, I have a question or I need your guidance and advice, good leaders give good counsel. They give prudent advice and they also help to resolve conflict so that the team can work together. Now, verse 14, let's keep going. When his father-in-law Jethro saw all that Moses was doing for the people, he said, what is this you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit as judge while all these people stand around you from morning till evening? Now, this brings us to our second leadership insight, and that's this. Good leaders have mentors who observe them, see what they're doing, and offer good counsel. Remember, the status quo is always present, and it's easy for a leader to get stuck in a rut of doing the same thing the same way over and over again and not having an opportunity to see that there might be a better way to do the things you're doing to be more effective in your leadership. Sometimes even the best leaders have blind spots and they don't know what they don't know. That's why good leaders are also good followers. They find mentors and other leaders who are ahead of them on the leadership journey, and they submit to their teaching. They submit to their instruction and their guidance because they know that those who have gone before them, that have more experience and wisdom and are willing to speak into their lives, can help them lead more effectively. Now, let's jump over to verse 17, 18, and 19 of Exodus chapter 18, and we see some interaction going on, and you can read that interaction in Exodus 18 on your own, but we'll pick up here. Moses' father-in-law replied to Moses when he was asked what he was doing, and Moses had given this explanation. What you are doing is not good. You and these people who come to you will only wear yourselves out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone. Listen now to me, and I will give you some sound advice. Now, you can already see the leadership lesson coming out of this comment from Moses' father-in-law to Moses himself. And here it is. Good leaders are willing to hear the hard truth they need to hear in order to improve their ability to lead. So we see in this passage that Moses allowed Jethro to share a harsh reality based upon his observations that this current model of leadership that Moses was engaged in was not only going to be mentally, physically, and emotionally taxing on him, it was going to do the same for the people. And ultimately, this model of leadership would fail. Jethro had the opportunity to point out to Moses that your leadership style, the way you're leading yourself and leading others right now, is going to be unsustainable in the long term. Understand, even good leaders have blind spots. And if you're not careful, you can end up being a stagnant, effective leader if you're doing the same thing the same way you've always done it. Now, let's wrap up today's teaching with one last passage, and that's Exodus 18, verses 21 and 22. Again, Jethro is giving guidance and advice, and this is the instruction that he gave to Moses. But select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain, and appoint them as officials, making them judges or leaders over thousands, over hundreds, over fifties, and over tens. We're talking about delegation of authority. Have these individuals serve as judges for the people at all times, but have them, these judges, these men you've appointed, bring every difficult case to you, Moses. The simple cases they can decide for themselves. But this will make your load lighter because these capable men will share the burden with you. Now, think about the insight that comes from that, and that's this. Good leaders allow others who have demonstrated themselves to be capable the opportunity to lead. Now, if we go back to the prior chapter, Exodus chapter 17, we see that Moses deferred leadership responsibilities to Joshua, who was a proven war veteran and understood military tactics well. Moses had delegated responsibility to a military leader. But notice here in chapter 18, he did not extend that same delegation in other areas of leadership. Like many leaders, Moses was trying to do too much himself rather than identifying capable people that would be willing and effective and able to lead and giving them the opportunity to do so. Remember what Jethro said. Give them opportunity over hundreds, over fifties, over tens, and over fives, based upon their ability to lead. Maybe you start them small with 5 people, or maybe if they're a little more capable leader, it's 10. For that even more capable leader, maybe it's the 50. And for that super capable leader, it's the 100. But by delegating the authority, you were able to expand the opportunity so the people weren't spending all this time waiting for their turn. More simple matters of leadership, guidance, and advice could be handled by these leaders in training, these apprentices, these disciples who were learning the role of leadership, and Moses could spend some time grooming them, and together they could more effectively lead the people. Remember the an acronym for team. Together, everyone accomplishes more, or everyone achieves more. So good leaders raise up other leaders, and they're going to give them an opportunity to prove themselves. Good leaders are going to teach and train the leaders who will one day take their place. But in doing so, they have to give them the opportunity to get actual leadership experience. Hey, I hope you've enjoyed today's leadership insight from the Bible. And if you love leadership and personal growth lessons, whether faith-based or not, let me encourage you to check out 2 of my video channels, YouTube and Rumble. It is Be a Black Belt Leader. You can find those channels at YouTube and Rumble, Be a Black Belt Leader. If you're a fan of podcasts like this one, you can join me on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, all the major podcast channels. It's the Black Belt Leadership channel on all the major podcast networks. Now, if you are a person of faith, I have put together an additional leadership series, the top 10 leadership lessons from the Bible. You can find access to this free resource at my website, beablackbeltleader.com. Simply go to the courses area, click on the leadership lessons from the Bible, simply put in your name and an email address, and we will send you those 10 leadership lessons over a period of time. And you'll have an opportunity to read and study these incredible people that we've identified give good leadership insights that we can apply to our own lives. And while you're at the website, Be a Black Belt Leader, be sure and check out all the other free and paid resources that are there. And don't forget to check out my #1 best-selling book, Black Belt Leadership 101. It's available in the store area, and you can also find it on Amazon. This book is the 10 essential qualities of how to be a black belt leader. And if you want to go deeper than just the book, there is a master class that's available with 10 video training modules, a total of 50 video lessons, each module focusing on a different chapter and different aspects within the chapter in the book, Black Belt Leadership 101. And let me lastly mention, under the Contact Us page, you'll find all my social media links where you have an opportunity to connect and follow me online, where Monday through Friday each week, I'm sharing tips, tools, insights, and resources to help you become a better version of who you are and what you do. My video channels, YouTube and Rumble, are there, as is my newsletter channel on Substack. Now, let me leave you with this. I believe everybody is leading someone somewhere right now, even if the only person you're leading is you. So don't just be a leader, be a black belt leader and live your life with black belt excellence. I'm Dr. John Terry, the Black Belt Leader. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.